Alright, we're looking at the fight between Jack Hermansson and David Branch. A couple of really interesting grappling exchanges, short fight, so it was pretty much these two grappling exchanges and it was done. The first part is a beautiful foot sweep. Hermansson hits off of the 50-50 clinch, so he's got an underhook and an overhook on this piece, and we're just going to describe that to begin with, and then we'll get into the lovely arm-in guillotine that he hit to finish the fight. So at the beginning of the fight, he's looking for the double leg, shoots a double leg, head's pretty low on it, it gets blocked by Branch and they end up in a pretty 50-50 position. So Branch has an underhook, Hermansson has an underhook, and whenever you're in these scenarios, it's about who's going to get in and get some decent position on that underhook first. And generally you want to be the person that's jacking this up and not the other person getting your shoulder raised up into the air. And so from here, I'm always jacking up on the person's shoulder as early as possible in this exchange. And this little foot sweep he goes for, there's a couple of pieces that you have to get right if you're going to go for this move. You have to be thinking about loading the person's weight up onto you slightly, almost like you're getting in on an arching position, almost suplex style, and you have to be thinking about rotating the person. Because what we're basically trying to do is unload the person's legs. By that I mean make sure they haven't got too much weight going on through the legs. So I'm going to get this person coming in towards me and getting rotating so his legs get to a position where they're light, and I barely have to do any kind of serious work through the foot sweep. A little block, a little move will do it. So as they're in this fairly 50-50 position, Hermansson goes straight after some power into this underhook from here, and he's pulling in hard on the other side. As we swing it around, you'll see it more on the other side from here. But rather than driving and getting some forward momentum going, he's starting to pull and drive and get some backward action going because he wants the rotation from here. So rather than just spinning the person round and having them loaded on their base, he wants to pull them up and off their base. So from here he's actually pulling Branch into him slightly and arching slightly so he can get this going. So he's rotating and bringing this position round this way, and he goes for the foot sweep first. Branch just manages to keep himself on his feet and he doesn't hesitate, he goes straight for it again. Because in this exchange, the more he keeps rotating, the more he keeps Branch upright and loaded onto him from there, the more likely he is eventually to be able to hit that foot sweep. So again, he's pulling on the overhook from here, he's lifting and driving on the underhook, but rather than forward momentum, he's pulling back into this. So he's pulling and rotating from here, and then he gets that second shot on the foot sweep, and Branch goes down. They end up in dominant top position for Hermansson and side control, and Branch starts immediately trying to scramble and get himself into a position where he can get his base back. So he starts to turn in towards his knees pretty much immediately. So now we get into the second part of the fight. After the foot sweep, he hits this lovely arm-in guillotine. So on the foot sweep takedown to begin with, don't forget fast rotation and load the person onto you using that powerful underhook so that their legs and their base go light. You don't want them heavy through their feet. Next, we'll look at the arm-in guillotine. So after the foot sweep and the takedown, they end up with Hermansson in a top position in side control from here, and Branch immediately trying to react and get back to his base. So Branch rolls through and starts coming through onto his base from here, and they end up in a classic position where person on top might be scrambling for the back. So I would typically be rotating my head this way, climbing these legs in, hooking in, either the near side hook first, whichever way I'm doing it, getting onto the person with my head in the same direction as my partner. You see Hermansson go completely the opposite direction with his head. So he's looking for this immediately, he's not hanging about. So right on the beginning of this exchange, as Branch comes up to his feet, he's already on this, he turns his head this way towards Branch's hips so he can slide this arm right in deep on the neck, but also so that he can set the leg early. This top knee and this top arm being the key two factors that he needs to get in place. This top knee is basically underneath the person in the same way that you might catch up on any kind of standard guillotine move from here. A leg blocked in on the bottom, one wrapped up over the top to stop a defensive line out that way from there. So nothing in particular about the leg positions, fairly standard guillotine position, but getting it set early as you move the hand into place so it's ready to go. So from the scramble, he's arm deep, biceps right onto the neck, knee in early on, and it raises up a bit in this position, but we're going to shortchange that and not talk about it too much, except to say he does a great job of getting his hip in real tight. So this whole area here, very compact, very tightened up, and getting these hands together early on, trying to get that forearm nice and horizontal, and then he's back into this in a classic kind of shape, and he's stretching it out, hips up, getting that tap on the arm in guillotine. Beautiful move, lovely setup. One more time. They're here from side control. If we just get my partner roll back over in side control for a second. He turns out from this position, he follows him over onto his base, and then his head towards the hips. So that's the switch for the submission right there. Not head this way in the normal direction, head out towards the hips, catching the arm, getting the knee in, and locking up against the hip here. Tight biceps, tight hip, hands connected together early in the sequence, driving that knee through, and then hipping up for the finish and keeping that shoulder crunched in nice and tight. Wonderful move, wonderful grappling sequence and fight in general from Jack Hermansson, very impressive, and a really nice way of setting up that arm in guillotine. Hope you enjoyed the video. For more stuff like this and from more of the fights at the weekends, go check out UFCsecrets.com.